hot cocoa, getting ready to spill the tea, I guess. Or
Oh
sip.
yes, usually we're gonna sip the tea. Usually I have something chocolate to drink, but it's been a day. You're about to hear about it. It has been a day, and look at that. It's already started. So this is phenomenal. So we are live. It took me to the live. So it started with you saying that hot cocoa thing. Hello, everyone. This is Derek, and I am the Chocolate Botanist. It is so good to see you all on today. With me, I have the illustrious, the famous, and the melanated TR himself of Apotment Jungle,
Hello,
APO.
everyone. Hello, 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 hello.
That's right. He is here, and it looks like we are live. Please put comments to tell us where you're coming from. And I'm going to turn myself down in the background here so I don't confuse myself. But before we get too started, I painted this gorgeous pot, everyone. I got this pot from the Home Depot. You go to the Home Depot, they always got a good terracotta pot. And the paint I got from the Michaels, the art and craft supply store, is this Krylon Color Morph. They are not sponsoring me yet,
Yeah,
but they can be. They could be. They could choose to do it, right? And as you can see, it's kind of blue. It's got some black in there. It's purple. Ain't this gorgeous?
it's gorgeous. Absolutely. You did
I
a
did
phenomenal
this.
job with the paint. I'm surprised I don't see any streaks. It looks pretty
You,
smooth.
it does. Now, if you see it in real life, you'll definitely see a little streaks because I was painting a little too close. I got a heavy hand sometimes. But
Okay.
on the camera, this paint comes off phenomenal. And it has they have blue and purple, and they have green and gold. Those are the colors they have. Again, the paint, it seemed a little pricey for me, to be honest, because it's
Right.
$15 for like a little can. But like really seeing this finished result, and those of you who watch my social media know I messed up a pot. I effed up a pot trying before. But seeing the finished result, it's all worth it. So
Yeah, that's
y'all make
cool.
sure
What
y'all
size,
go
what
and
size
see
is
them
that
paint.
planter, by the way?
Say it again.
What size is that planter you have there?
That's a very good question. What size is this? Let's see. I'm just going to feel it out. I'm saying about maybe 10 inches, if
10?
that.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, I'm usually better at just knowing inches by hand, but not today, I see. So anyway, we're going to be talking on the hot cocoa. Again, we're going to be chit-chatting. Before we get too deep into the details, a couple of things. Usually, I have something chocolate to drink. Ooh, this came right free as I did that. Usually, I have something chocolate that I have in my cup that I'm sipping. That's chocolate tea, like the one I get from Jasper and Gold, who are local people here in
Okay.
the area, making sure I look good. I don't look crazy while we're talking because the people ain't going to talk about me in the comments. Y'all ain't fitting to troll me in the comments because you can try if you want to. Okay. I'm going to come for broke. But I don't have that on today because it has been a day. My good friend, Karen Booker, some of you who know me in real life, she has passed, and I am devastated because she was a beautiful soul and she had some torment that she experienced. But I am grateful to know that she's experiencing freedom at this point. And with that happening, in addition to the fact that Derek almost broke his leg today getting food, like literally, I tripped over something and like hit my leg on a pole. I didn't even see it. Like my leg is hurting a little bit. I ain't getting nobody's chocolate. So we're just going to pretend that this water here is on chocolate on today. So if you're watching this in the future, if you're watching this now, again, give us some likes, give us some comments, and, let's just go for what we know.
Yeah, it's just water. That's what I'm sipping. And also, I was jumping over hurdles trying to get home from work to make it on time. I'm like, Derek is going to kill me. I'm usually punctual, but I hate to rush. That's one thing with me. I don't rush with anything. I just believe, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen and things will fall into place.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason today, New York City subway wasn't on my side. And
Oh,
I'm like,
no.
oh my God, this is going to be the first time ever. I'm going to be late for the hot cocoa, and D is going to have me on a platter this evening if I'm not on
I
time.
wouldn't. I wouldn't do you like that because to be honest, I barely had all this stuff set up on time. I started cleaning, and then usually when I start cleaning and trying to rearrange things, I somehow make the room more atrocious and dirty.
Right.
So that happened. I have a nasty gnat problem. There are gnats all over this freaking place, and it seems like every time I feel like I've gotten the hive, there's
Right.
still more. So I make kombucha, right? I found them in some of my ferments, so I threw them away angrily. I found them in some, just like if you don't wash your dishes like quickly enough, or you let water sit and you don't put soap in it or
Right.
enough soap, they'll be in that. If you put like wet stuff in your trash can, I found them there. So I've been like trying to keep the trash like empty. And then I went into the second bedroom and I was like, why are y'all in here? Like, I know I have earthworms and stuff, but I covered them up to try to, keep the water from just this being an access point. But again, a couple of months ago, I was rinsing out some of the worm tea, as they call it, out of these buckets. And I guess I moved the bucket into the bedroom without actually cleaning it out. So it was still half full. I was thinking this whole time, like, I know I had like an extra, like, couple of liters of worm tea. Where is this stuff, right? And I finally found it because it's Nat Central. And this is really trying to come down on me. It is Nat Central. And I was like, this is atrocious. This is like so horrible. So I am not feeling this at all.
I saw your last video on Instagram where you had you was doing a compost. You had some cardboard from the post office in the base of the pot.
Oh yes.
Now, when you do things like that, it's safe to do it outside. But if you bring it indoors, you already know once you're doing watering, the cardboard, it holds that saturation. It holds that water.
Oh, it does.
And yeah, and that's where the gnats. That's another place where they're probably just like, "Oh, thank you, Derek. You gave us some nice went home here."
Exactly. And I cover all these things with like old wife beaters. I can't remember the politically correct name, so please don't cancel me. Old, thin tank top t-shirts, and I feel like there's a better name, but I can't remember what it is. I'm so Southern. Or like old pillowcases. And I like will cover them up. But like once that moisture evaporates out, then they'll just sit on the wet fabric and be like, "Ha, we're just propagating here." So it's kind of like darned if you do, darned if you don't. So I try to put everything in like a separate room so that way they'll just kind of stay in there. But it doesn't seem to work. They're going to, because they find a way.
Chance using any coarse sand cover at the top of the soil?
I need to. I was thinking about that today because life always finds a way. I have some mosquito bits I'm going to add in too. I just don't want to, like with the sand, I don't mind putting it out there, but I know with me, the way I'll turn things over or add stuff on top, I'm like, how can I do this where this will be sustainable,
right.
and not become issue? And it's really just, I get a house, I get like a garage, and I put everything in the garage, and that way they're only there. But that's coming. So it is what it is. So again, I have my buddy TR here. We are here with the Hot Cocoa, and I wanted to talk about dating. This is a topic I love talking to you about because you seem to be in a happy relationship. You married, right? Did I make that up?
I've been in heaven for 19 years.
Okay, that sounds like my answer. And
put it that way. And I have no regrets. It's been a journey. It's been, a rocky road here and there. And at the same time, the good outweigh the bad, and I love every minute of it. I wouldn't change anything for the world.
That is so beautiful.
And I'm not saying that just because she's sitting there with a gun, pointed at my head, but
she's just off screen, ain't she? Hey. Hilarious. I'm here for it. I'm here with all of it. Well, that is phenomenal. And we've talked about this on various lives before about the atrocities of me dating. So let me give you all like a brief example of what happened. I met a person on one of these here dating apps about 3 years ago, and they, like most people, were like super into me. And I was like, yeah, you're not really my type. And they were like, why? And I was like, I'm not really feeling your face. Like, I didn't say it like that. That's what I was thinking. I didn't say that in the comments. I didn't say that in the messages. But I was like, I'm just not physically attracted to you. In my mind, I'm like, I don't really like your face. But I said, hey, if nothing else, let's just try to be friends. They said, okay. So I'm thinking in my spirit, in my heart, in my chest, that since we have both had an understanding and both of us is grown, we are both over 30, right? Both of us is grown. It should be an understanding that since I am not physically attracted to you, and I said, let's be friends. And I try to even give a clarity of that's just, friendship. There's no 401k package. There's no health care. There's no days off. There's no benefits. See, some people, they be lost on that. They're like, what? There's no benefit.
When you're sick. That's about it.
Look, I'm not even going to do that. I'm just going to say, God, Do it. That's it. That's all I got. Jesus. That's all I can do. Side note, I gotta tell this.
You're terrible.
Many moons ago, I left Papa John's because they were treating me terribly. And when I left, I ended up calling a pastor I was under many moons ago. Not the pastor I'm currently under, but a pastor
Okay.
I was under many moons ago. And I wanted them to pray for me because I was crying, I was snotting, I was hurt, I was manipulated and abused. And I was like, I just need to feel better. Can you please pray for me?
Wow.
And they gave me the most aggravated sounding tired tongues I have ever heard. Like, I'm just gonna repeat the same phrase. It wasn't no, like, I'm like, if you just wasn't feeling it, like, you just say, hey, look, let me call you back, like, something. But I felt like I was such a bother getting these tired tongues. And I ain't gonna give nobody no tired tongues. I'm just gonna be like, again, Jesus, do it. Okay, I hope you feel better. That's all I got. So because who needs some tired tongues? So I tell them, like, if you want, again, we could be friends. They want my Instagram. I give them my burner Instagram, my personal one. Some of y'all
Right.
find my personal Instagram. I don't know how y'all be finding me, but it's okay. One person found my Facebook, my real Facebook. I don't know. I guess you looked my name up and scrolled through enough
Right.
until
Or
you
phone
found
number or
me.
something. Right.
There must have been something because they added me and was like, hey, I'm this. Hey, so good to see you again. I'm on your Instagram. I'm like, I have no clue who you are. I don't even know your real name up here. I think I may have liked your stuff several months ago. I see so many people. You expect me to pick you out of a crowd, and I would love to. I would love to be able to do that, but I can't. So, rewinding back, because I get sidetracked real easy. Y'all know I do. So, rewinding back, we go a couple of years on and off. I let this person know, like, hey, I'm not really feeling you. I have to repeat this at least twice in the first like 6 months of us knowing each other because I'm like, I'm not feeling you. And they like, well, you could. And I'm like, well, I can't. Like, that's not a possibility.
Okay.
I did
And
not
why
do
was
well in stuff. Why wasn't it possible?
right?
Because I did not like their face. I am
So
what's
it was just the
called,
physical attraction that,
was not
well,
there.
not being attracted that turned you away.
Exactamundo, because Derek is what's called shallow. Some people like to call it. Some people like to say I have a pretty person fetish, right? I don't really go into that and say that I do, but if people say that I do, then phenomenal. I like what I like. Everybody likes what they like. We all got a type. Like that's
Of
it.
course.
If
Yeah.
somebody got no type, then they are the opposite of what Ray Schmurder was talking about. So, so with that being said, I told them like, look, not feeling you, you know, just not my type. And they were like, we could do something, you could learn to love me. And I was like, yeah, I'm a great learner, but no, let's even start with this. Because I've tried to do that whole dating outside of my type before. I said, well, what is your religiosity? Right? Because the biggest things to me are, can I have a conversation with you? What do you look like? Can I have a conversation with you without feeling like I'm being overbearing or too much or stupid? Number one, do you laugh at my jokes because I'm freaking hilarious? Number one, also, what do you look like? Because if I'm not physically feeling you, the rest of it is mostly out of the window. There's rare times where that will kind of be overridden by something else. And then number 3 or 4, we're on 4. This is 4. Number 4, the biggest thing is, which is number 1, but like really point A, and then the rest of them are 1 point B. Do you like Jesus? Do you like Jesus? Because if you don't really like Jesus like that, then as a friend, I can tolerate any religiosity or spiritual practice or lack thereof that we
Right.
all have, because the ability for us to detail and determine what this earth is and what this world is beautiful to me.
Right.
But as I was telling a friend at the job place today, I don't want to be like, we together forever, and then I go to heaven and you go to your version of heaven, and then we separate because my viewpoint and your viewpoint is different. Or, we just don't get into the same club. Imagine we both go out together and we don't get in the same club. What you got?
So the interesting thing about that is what I've learned when it comes to relationships, you never get the face value. Like you never get the true colors for at
Mm-hmm.
least the first 2 years. It is very rare you come across an individual that's willing to
Mm-hmm.
give just them, 100% of them. And when I
Uh-huh.
say them, I mean the realness without the facade. So you're going to get, the acts, the gimmicks of, I really want this to work. I want this relationship to work. I really love this young man. He's attractive.
Oh yes,
He
young
has a
man.
lot of things going for himself, and I want to make this work. Now, what they're going to do, they're going to basically try their best to go out of their way to make things work and do things that they normally wouldn't do, just to impress you, to make things work.
And see,
Now,
that's
when
a
you get
beautiful statement.
comfortable, when you get comfortable, down the road, if it makes it that far, down the years, you're going to start to see things that surprises you. Like, wait a minute, where's this coming from? This is unexpected. I never knew you, because they're not showing you their true colors. That's just human nature.
That is very much human nature. Right. And I think this is amazing how this Zoom is like doing us both at the same time. It's okay. With the human nature, I have a prayer that I pray so that way I can see who a person is, because time is fleeting, right? And the last thing I want is to get intertwined with someone, because at the end of the day, this relationship thing is more than sex to me. It's more than just a captivating love story. It is something of, we are building an empire together, because I'm freaking going places. All of us know that. Okay, the people in the comments know that, but I need somebody who can match that. And with this person, they, again, like you say, they tried to be like, well, I used to go to church and I used to do this. And it's like, okay, phenomenal. Because I've been on dates and people, oh yeah, I go to church. And I'm like, okay, what church you go to? And then there was one person, they didn't want to tell me what church they went to. I later found out that they were a practicer of various points of the divinity that were of the island, comma, kind of Creole feel, which I'm like, okay, that's beautiful. Like Haiti. I don't want to give specific answers because this is somebody. Oh, okay. This is somebody both of us know. And I'm assuming you know, at least, because you have to. And I'm like, all right, then, but I see the things. Or another person, they were like, I love Jesus, I go to church, da, 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 da. And then one day they slipped up and I'm just gonna do some crazy witch stuff at this party. And they were like, I don't know why I said that. And I'm like, I don't know why you said it either. And I'm thinking, I prayed. I said, God, reveal to me who this person is so I can see who they are. And people just slip up, they trip over themselves. They just be jumbling all over themselves.
Now, I have a problem when people speak in past tense. I used to go to church. I used to be in a club. I used to. It's like, okay, that's great and everything, but what do you do now? Because a leopard really doesn't change spots. So
yes,
you took a temporarily break. You're breaking right now, but you can always backtrack and go back to do these things. And I'm sure you love doing these things. So what made you give it all up to the point where now it's just past tense, where you used to?
And that's the biggest thing. And that's where I'll ask. I'll say, what were you doing there? So I've lost so much track of the story. So pretty much the person and I was like, people, y'all can fast forward through this. Put it on 2x speed. It'll sound like a regular story. And the person, basically, I was like, I'm not really feeling you. Again, they wanted my phone number. They wanted my Instagram. They just wanted to be hitting me up at all hours. Hey, how you doing, big head? How are you doing? So sexy, cute, handsome, blah, da, 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 da. I'm like, hey, you doing good, friend? And I'm like, putting it obvious, like, do you talk to your friends like this? They like, oh yeah, I do it. I'm like, okay, good, I guess. So we talk on and off for a couple of years. This person hits me up this year during the whole Panini press. And I'm like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and say, let's just go out, because I did say one day we'll go out and eat a lunch or something. But it's not like again, we're going out for this date that is going to be like
something to be developed.
This isn't something to be developed. There's no photography here. This is literally just going to be a quick, let's have lunch as friends. Let's have a dinner as friends. Exactly, quick bite. We go out and I feel like, I don't know if y'all seen this Lifetime movies where, the white woman goes out and she meets this handsome Caucasian fellow, and she's swooped off of her feet, and he knows all the Garth Brooks and Hall & Oates songs and the Journey songs, the
Willie Nelson's,
Willie Nelson, and the occasional Beyonce, because the white people get down with Beyonce, except for that Black Parade and that album and all that stuff. They didn't really like that at all in that Lion King. They were like, she's doing a little too much, but they like a little Beyonce. And The I know what the white people like. I speak their language. And they swooped off their feet. And I felt like this is what this person was attempting to manifest. So I was like, let me again be like, hey, again, we're as friends here meeting up. It was so good to see you. You're good people, da 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 da. And I think I'll enjoy your friendship. They say, okay, they do this. So number one, they end up hitting me later, asking me, basically demanding it low key that I provide mutuality to them. Because when I first meet a person on social media, that Derek is like, and I'm live and vibrant because this is the personality side of me.
But that is the same
in.
Derek that you get in person, right?
Oh no, that's not the same Derek that you get in person.
That's not the same Derek you get in person. Oh, okay.
Oh no, because see, quiet as is kept, I don't like people. So when it comes to, and people never understand it and they don't believe it. I enjoy people. I love talking to people. I love vibing with cool people. Howsoever, I'm not really a people person. I can cut it on and off. I prefer to be alone sometimes. And sometimes I like to go out and hang out.
It needs that sometimes, yeah.
There's kind of a balance. So generally, when I first meet anyone for relationships, family, jobs, anything, I'm quiet because I'm observing you. I'm watching you. I got my eyes open and I'm trying to feel who you are. So in that way, if I need to manipulate you, I can do so because I know what buttons to hit. And if I need to be careful of you for whatever reason, again, I know how to do so. But it's generally just so I can learn who you are and navigate you as possible. Again, that's where that manipulation comes in. Manipulation isn't always a bad thing to a certain extent. Sometimes it's a mediation. It's kind of a two-headed coin for me.
Right.
So, well, and I know you got the question face like, what? I'll go through it later. I was one day. I'll bring you up here. I'll send you some cocoa and we'll talk. And I'm silent. So I told this person, like, I'm just quiet because I'm quiet and I'm just observing you because this is our first time interacting in person. And you were telling me your story about your brothers and your sisters and your mothers and your fathers and the job you work and all this stuff and your life mindset and everything. And I'm just sitting here listening because you're a good conversationalist, which I rarely run into. So I'm like, this is great. I don't even have to drive this conversation. I can just sit in the passenger seat and coast. This is phenomenal. So I let them know, like, if you're looking for me to be you, you need to leave because that's never going to happen. I'm my own person. They're like, no, that's not really what I meant. And I'm thinking, I have a good sense of reading. I'm knowledgeable. I know what words mean. I have a good command of the English language. I know what you might have, you convinced me a little bit, like I might be just reading too deep into this. So I said, okay, that was one. Number two, we go out, we eat again or something, and it's another conversation about something else. And I'm like, again, if you want me to fawn all over you. Second date? Yes. Because again, what I said,
right? A second date.
I heard you.
Oh,
second date as a friend. Okay, let's go. We go and eat and I pick the place. It's, good. I'm like, cool beans. We go out and grocery shop and I'm trying to be like, again, after work.
Okay.
Well, yeah, because it was near a grocery store. So I basically, this is going to sound a little rough, but I was like, I really don't feel like being bothered because I go to work and you want to see me every week. You talk to me every day and I'm not interested in you like that. I don't talk to my mother every day.
Right.
Now, I talk to my mother every Sunday and I get frustrated if she don't answer that phone, but that is my mama. But I don't talk to my mother every day. I have some friends, I work with them, so I talk to them every day. But even sometimes I just want to be in a quiet because I see y'all every day.
But sometimes the simplest things that you do can come off misleading. Like, for example, you know what? After the first time we went out as friends, now we're on a second friendly date. And at the same time, we're in the grocery store shopping like we're a couple.
Now see, this is why I talk to you because you're smart. And here's where Derek was going. I don't feel like being bothered with you, but what I'm gonna do is pick a restaurant I know that's good and near the grocery store because I really need to pick up groceries for tomorrow. And I told y'all this was gonna sound bad. I really need to pick up groceries. Two birds with one stone. Right. And I said, let me just go to this grocery store because the place I like is a Greek spot over here in the Raleigh, Durham area. And it's near a good Harris Teeter. I needed some yogurt because at that point, Derek was like, I'm going to drop this 60 pounds and I'm going to drink smoothies in the morning. And I needed more smoothie material. So I said, if you don't mind, you can come to the grocery store with me if you want. I needed to go anyway, you know, you can just walk around. You can ask me some more questions, because I'm a little tired. It's been a long day at work, Okay.
Terrible.
So again, that could have been Derek there. That could have been me being like, okay, I'm being a little misleading. So this is why I talk to you. We here. So
oh my God.
The third time we go and meet somewhere else. We go, it's a Chinese restaurant, Asian restaurant. We go eat, have fun. I try to be more,
important.
you know.
That's important. Fun. I'm gonna let you finish. Fun is important.
Yeah. Fun is important because I try to have fun. Like, you know, I shouldn't be I can't say that word on YouTube. I shouldn't be as difficult. That's the word I'm gonna say. As I should be. Had to censor myself a little bit. I don't know what words will get me demonetized, even though I'm not there yet. Yeah. But I just want to go ahead and not say that typical N word.
Not to mention that you are very intelligent. There's no need to use those words, but carry on.
You are right about that, but I'm also very Southern. And sometimes I slip into what my Southernisms. So when it comes to that, now, right? Yeah, this is the third one. We go out, we eat at the Asian restaurant, you know, we talking about work, dreams, and aspirations. And I'm like, okay, well, tell me what you want to do. Like, where are you going with this? You know, how can you get there? You know, because in my past life, I've been a tutor. I've career coached some people. Nothing like expansive, but I've helped people get a mindset of what do you want to do and how can you get there? You know, academically, career-wise, whatever. And I've done resumes. Some people just pissed all over them, but I've done resumes. And I was like, you know, I can help you out. Just let me know. Because again, you seem like cool people. You know, fun is important. That's a good key word, but seem like is another key word. You seem like cool people. And we're just going to go out and, you know, this is going to be good. So we talking, they changed jobs. I basically let them know because they wanted to see me the following week. I was like, we don't have to see each other every week. Like I would prefer low key if we don't see each other every week, because I have close friends I've known for years. And I wouldn't want to see them every day or every week or even multiple times in a month. There might be times where I would, but I have to build to that point. And I feel like you're trying to force it. And
this is her trying to make things work.
Exactly. So you're trying to force it. And if you don't fit, you don't force it. That's what they said in the song.
Not only that, on all 3 dates, who paid for the bill?
It was Dutch. I think the first night, actually, I paid for the bill.
Actually, Dutch. Wow. Okay.
Actually, no, it was the first night I paid for the bill. And then the second night they covered the bill. And then I think we went Dutch the next time. Or maybe I covered it. I can't remember.
All 3 dates you had fun?
The first one, the first two, I was a little over it. Because again, I'm tired after work. I work in vaccines, people. So this pandemic has had us in all types of ways. And I was like,
right.
But again, it was, I wouldn't say like, ooh, fun, I'll talk about it forever, but it wasn't like pulling teeth. It was enjoyable. I know that sounds the same, but the connotation is different.
Right.
Like it wasn't like, you know, like I can go out with like Cola, for example, Black in the Garden. We can go out as friends. We have a whole bop. Okay. We're going to talk and laugh and kiki. Okay. And we're going to have, me and you go out. I make fun of you about some catfish and some grits. And then we're going to joke and tee-hee. You didn't think I was going to throw it in here, but I did.
We're going to laugh.
And we're going to laugh all day. And that's going to be like, oh, this was a great time. Like, I'm really glad I got outside and did it. This was like, okay, like this, you wasn't like a murderous killer or something and you weren't stupid, but I could have just stayed home. Like, it wasn't really like, okay.
Oh, okay.
Because again, it takes me a while to warm up to people.
You're right.
It takes me a while to warm up to people, TR. It takes me a while.
He has the Berlin Wall, Fort Knox, Sing Sing. Every wall you can think of is in front of him.
It's not even just a wall. It's North Korea. North Korea, South Korea, the difference. You know how you get into North Korea and you can't take no pictures and people it's like that.
Let me ask you something. What are you willing to give up to make it work? Meaning, like, for example, you're looking for I'm not going to say perfectionism because I don't believe in that. But you're looking for someone who has all these values. Now, just one of the value is missing. Let's say, for example, she's not a spiritual person. Are you willing to make things work and introduce these things to her? Or you're just like, you know what? No, I'm looking for the full package. I don't have time to try to introduce this to you. You know,
I feel split. So there used to be this white church back home that I went to, and they were a little bit like a cult. I was going to say their name, but then I said I was thinking I want to say that like a cult, so I'm not going to say their name. But the people that know me know at one point I used to go to this white church, and they talked about this thing where it was like evangelist dating or something, where it's not the term for it. I had to ask one of my friends what they called it, but basically where you would go out and date people and then try to drag them to Christ. And they had these viewpoints that I've been trying to unlearn. Of not dating people outside of the faith because they feel like it would be a failure or a hard road to pave to bring people in.
Right.
So to a certain extent, I'm like, no, because I don't want to feel like I'm forcing my faith onto a person. But to a certain extent, yes, because if you love me as I am, then you would have to have a love of the faith that I have and how that goes through my life in the same way that I would have to respect and love the faith that you have.
I was hoping that you said
whatever faith that is.
I was hoping that you say that because when you first meet someone, as you know, it is an attraction. There's something there, attraction, chemistry, energy, whatever you want to call it. Love is basically earned within time. You do not fall in love with someone through appearance because there's so much that comes behind that, So when you just said a little while ago, for example, if you love me, that's down the road. I'm not one who believes, within 2 weeks, you're like, oh my God, girl, I love you. No. I didn't even introduce you to my mama yet. You haven't even met the fellas yet. You don't even know what time I get up in the morning. That's the way I see it. I think, I think it takes time. Everything takes time,
It does.
So I say that to say, when you do meet an individual and for example, the vibes is right, right? This person is riding your brain waves. You just feel excitement, those butterflies every time you speak to this individual. But they're just lacking that one thing. It might be disturbing from the very beginning, but you're like, you know what? I'm willing to make this work because I think I can deal with this. If I can't, it's never too late just to jump out of the relationship or just bring it to the light from the very beginning. Right. Just bring it from the very beginning. You know what? I'm a spiritual person. I go to church every Sundays, Bible studies, if that's the case. I'm letting you know right now, you're willing to more than join me. I'm not forcing anything on you. But if I find myself going to church every Sunday for 2 months and you haven't showed up for one, it's like, all right, you know what? I tried this. I know the worst thing is time wasted, but sometime you will find a value in the time wasted as well. So I'm willing to waste a little time to see if I'm going to get a gem at the end. If they're willing to change their ways to suit me, that says a lot when a person is willing to drop certain things to say, you know what? Sure, I'm willing to go to church with you. Let's do this. I'm willing to go farming with you. Let's go down to the flea market. Let's do a picnic or whatever. I'm willing to do that.
Look, and I love that evolution. So you're right about that. You're right about that. And with that, I'll say, again, generally because I've been dating now actively for like 3 or 4 years, right? So yeah, because is it 2021? So 2018 was the breakup. Yeah, about 3 years, right?
Right.
So generally I've evolved into like, okay, this is my religiosity. Can you deal with this? Because some people they do, and for a good reason to a certain extent. Some people look at Christianity and they're like, you crazy, and they just run. They just like the little Scooby-Doo Regs and they shoot and they step off, right? So I'm like, okay, I get it. But with this person, again, I had mentioned that they were like, they gave this kind of little, Donald Trump answer. And I was like, okay, cool beans. I'm good to go. I seen it as a Donald Trump answer. That's kind of where you don't really give
I
me
get
an
it.
answer at all.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I get it.
It wasn't.
Beating
It
around the
wasn't like
bush.
you
Right.
beating around the bush. Just tell me, you know what I mean when I say I love Jesus. That
Right.
means I'm devoted. This is my title. If I had to say my religion, it would be Christianity. I don't do denominations because I think those are spiritual gangs or church gangs rather. But
Right.
and I don't do gangs no more. Not no more, Jesus. But the it's something else. So the third date, I talked about that grocery shop and went home. They were like, "Oh, it's so good," you know. It was so nice. Again, and I think I might even send a text like, "Text me when you get home." Again, I enjoyed our night. Because with any friend I have, any person, if I go on a date with you, whether I'm feeling you or I'm like, get away from me, I'm always gonna be like, just let me know you got home safe.
Right. Right.
Because I care that you got home, and I don't want to be the last
I'm
person you see,
concerned.
and you turned up missing.
Right.
Because the police ain't gonna come and ask me questions like, "Did you see what this person went?" I did nothing. And then people like, "Yeah, I seen them in a restaurant.
I've seen them together.
Real suspicious." Like, no, no, nope. Nope, they ain't gonna do that. I think he slipped something in they drink. That ain't gonna happen. Because people always like to make up stuff when they get asked by the police. So that was 3, right? Number 4, I was running late. And I can be honest where it wasn't like I was like, oh, I don't care. But I was like, look, number 1, I forgot. I'm gonna be honest, I had double booked myself. I do that every so often.
Right.
And I was like, I'll just cancel this other appointment because I already know I told you I'll see you. So don't worry about that. I'm gonna be there at like 5 o'clock. 5 Guys, burgers and fries. I'm gonna be there at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
4:45 happens. As a matter of fact, 4 o'clock, I'm about to leave the building. I generally leave out the workplace around 4 o'clock. I'm about to leave the building. Something breaks in my area. So I'm trying to rectify, fix, and troubleshoot.
Right.
And the clock is just tipping. Time is slipping, right? I say, hey, I send a little voice note. Hey, look, I'm probably going to be a little bit late because I have not left the job yet. This place ain't that far from me, but I'm going to be a little bit late because I'm trying to stop a catastrophe from happening here in this building.
Right.
And we were talking at a certain point, and I didn't realize because again, I'm trying to fix the problem. I'm stressed out because I had a new system I was learning at the time. And at one point, I don't realize I'm just sending messages and I'm not getting any replies back. So I'm like, hey, I'll be there. It's like 5:20 at this point. I'm like, hey, I'll be there. I know you got to be to work at like 6 o'clock, 6:30. So if you just got to go to work, just let me know. If nothing else, we can just sit and chat in the restaurant, outside the restaurant, have a little conversation, And then, or I just see you later in the week. Like I don't plan on dying no time soon. So I'll just see you Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever. Right. Again, no response. So I'm like, okay, maybe you're just sitting there. Maybe you are on the road traveling. You might not want to talk on your phone. Who knows? So I get there to the 5 Guys, burgers and the fries, right? I walk in, I don't see them. I walk outside, I'm looking in cars. Now, Cary, North Carolina is a good white neighborhood, a good white city. I'm looking in cars in Cary, North Carolina. I realize me, the 6'2" Black man, is looking in these potentially good white cars in Cary, North Carolina. I said, what the ham sandwich am I doing? Because I'm trying to look like, are you here? Like, is this? Because I couldn't remember what car they drove. Anytime we pull up, we wouldn't necessarily pull up at the same time, right? And then they'd leave, it'd be night. And my observation skills for things that ain't plants and beautiful people is kind of like, so I don't even know what kind of car you drove. If I seen it during the day, it ain't gonna really stick with me the first 5 times. It's gonna take a little bit of while.
Even though they did not answer the phone, you still made your way to 5 Guys.
Oh yeah, because I'm like, you just drive. You are probably in traffic or something. It's probably something crazy going on. I love to give benefits of the doubt, sometimes to my downfall. Okay. So I get there, I'm looking, and I'm like, you have to see me. I'm big. I'm out there like looking like, and I'm calling at this point, like, hey, where are you? Are you here? Like, are you in the car? Was this too busy at one point? You walked somewhere else because it's a shopping center and like a bunch of different restaurants and candy stores and things. I'm like, maybe you just went around and looked. There's little clothing stores. You went in one of them. And I'm like, At one point, I'm like, it's been like 15 minutes. You ain't here.
Oh,
So I said, I'm just gonna go on about my business. That was in June.
okay.
TR. June, I hear nothing from this person as if the flat earth thing is real and they fell off the flat earth. And NASA said, you gone. Okay. And they flew them off the flat earth. That's what the flat earthers believe. You got to know what people believe to talk to them. And I said, okay, you know what? I'm good. My friends kind of dogged me out because they said, we told you not to be doing that. If you're attracted to somebody, you shouldn't even give them the time of day. And I was like, but I'm just trying to expand my horizons. And it just doesn't seem to be working for me. So maybe I shouldn't. So
Right.
this is the second time I've been driven insane by a person who was like, oh, well, sure, I'll be your friend. And they didn't really. So that's June. This is all of this year. July, I'm sitting in my bed minding my own business, as Scrap could say. My phone vibrates. I pick up my phone. This isn't my phone. I pick up my phone and I say, hey, phone, who is this texting me? Now, when I was ghosted, I didn't delete the number. I should have.
Okay.
So I see that it's this person like, hey, I hope you're doing good. And I'm like, I'm great. How are you? Now, again, I try not to be perturbed is the word I'm going to use instead of the other
Right.
word I was going to use earlier. I
Yeah.
could have been that way, but I said, let me be perturbed. Hopefully y'all can put some subtext in and know what the word is I'm saying. I'm going to start doing that. I'm just going to start omitting words.
Yeah, that's
See if y'all
dope.
could just go ahead and put them in.
Right.
So I said, let me be a little peeved. Instead of being peeved and passive, I'm just going to be like, Lek, I'm good, you know, da-da-da. And they're like, yeah, I'm so sorry. I just couldn't understand why, you know, you just didn't really, it was basically, I couldn't understand why you didn't want me. And I'm like, but I told you you weren't my type. Like, am I stupid? Am I crazy? And I'm like, I think I'm cursed with memory because I remember telling you on the first app we met on, and then I told you on the next app we talked on, which was Instagram, and I told you on text messages, and then you video called me on Instagram, and I told you then, and then we talked about religiosity, and you said that you don't do this. I was like, I remember those things because, again, whether I'm attracted to a person or not, I value people, even though I'm not really a people person. I do value people. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like I remembered your story.
Right.
But I also remember being clear because I've been drug around before to be clear enough to say, I'm not into you like that. That's not, you ain't what I'm looking for. So I appreciate the compliments and stuff, but I'm just not, you ain't for me. So it's okay, you know, let's move on. And they were like, well, yeah, it was just so frustrating because, you know, I just was like, you know, I was just thinking about you and I was like, dang, I miss him. And I was like, and again, this is where this takes you back to the Lifetime movies where, you know, Rhonda and Reginald was together and they just decided to go their separate ways because Reginald had happened to look at a black girl a little too long. And Rhonda got a little jealous and tried to fry him some chicken and almost burnt the house down. That's not a real Lifetime movie, but I just made one. Okay, if somebody makes that up as a Lifetime movie, y'all let me know. Hey there, Erica. So we go and we're talking and they like, well, you know what, don't worry about it. We'll just talk when we meet. We can just meet next week.
Oh.
I said, that's actually not going to happen. Now I had to retype it because at first I was like, Negro, please. And then at second, I was like, you must be out your cotton picking mind. And then I deleted that and said, is it crack you smoke? And I was going to send a picture of Judge Mathis. It was going to be Judge Mathis. And it was going to be, is you on crack? I know a crackhead when I see one. You must be high. You must be high.
You high right
okay.
now.
And then I was going to send a little meme. I got a little meme of Medea giving a little mad face. And it was going to be like, you know, no, I was going to slip into a Medea voice, but I don't feel like it. So I was like, let me just not do that because I was like, don't do that.
Yeah,
just
that's just too much. Yeah, that's just too much.
Just be straight. Because I'm like, why you keep it simple? And I'm like, let me do it. So God bless it. I say, look, there's not even a point of doing that, to be honest. I was frustrated when you ghosted me in June, but I'm feeling pretty good about the situation and I've moved forward.
Right.
I've moved forward. So I appreciate you hitting me up. I appreciate you apologizing. I do apologize that you don't understand whatever. But again, as I said, you know, I'm not attracted to you. And
Right.
I don't go into what my type is to a certain extent because in other dating situations and people have been, they look, I don't have a mirror, This is gonna be my mirror. They take the checklist that I give and they say, this is the mirror, and I could change this and be this, and I could be what they want. And it's like, well, no, you don't have to be. Just be yourself.
Right.
Be yourself, and that's perfectly fine. So, and I was basically telling them, I understand your frustration because there's people I hit up that were not into me. That's okay. Like, none of us can be everybody's type. Somebody out there don't like Halle Berry and Denzel, and they're crazy, but they don't like them. Somebody out there will say that they don't like Beyonce and Chloe Bailey, and I wish I would find somebody talking bad about Chloe Bailey. Okay, I wish I would. Okay, I wish. So I'm like, whatever, cool beans.
Chloe.
Chloe is what, because Beyonce's married, and Beyonce, I was very disheartened when she married that Jay-Z, because I was always like, I just have a chant in my crazy head, and it just didn't work. And if Chloe, if it's like, oh, here's my boyfriend, I'd be happy for her because love is love, and I love people falling in love. But I'd also be like, dang it, why not me? Why not the Crazy Botanist? So I was like, we good. And then they ended up being like, oh, it doesn't even matter. I don't even know why I tried this conversation. And I'm like, well, look, I pray that Christ heals your heart, because I've been to the place where you are, where I was heartbroken and searching and longing.
Right.
And again, hearing me trying to be, as a friend of mine say, Chloe, the champion of the people, Chloe is more than all right. I'm looking at the comments here. Chloe is more than all right. Chloe is everything that I could want. And the things I would do to Chloe, I would tell you if I was able to see if that my pastor is not up here. Because if my pastor's up here, surely he'd be in the comments. This is what I'm saying. It's me trying to lure him out, because if he's there, I can know how far I can go. He might look at this later, go, I don't want to be called in his office. But just know, the things I would do with Chloe Bailey would be explicit. Pastor, as long as we're married. See, I had to put that last part in there for pastor. Pastor, as long as we're married, it would be explicit. Triple X rating and an X on top of that. It will be 4 X's. What does that mean? Who knows? Okay. But it would be.
You guys, I hope everyone here just saw that excitement. All right.
It was a lot of excitement, because I think about her often. Anywho.
Interesting. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
I think about her often because I love Chloe. Anywho, I've only heard one of her songs, that Have Mercy, and I watched that video. I woke up in the morning, prayed, and watched that video, and I was like, okay. I was like, because I've heard she can sing and stuff. I was like, I don't know why I'm attracted to musicians. This is a whole nother conversation. We're gonna come back to this. Anywho,
I know right now he would give up a lot to be with Chloe, but go ahead. I'm listening.
Oh, I would. Okay, now most of these. I would. Now, right. Would it be the plants? No, not the plants. No. I got to keep these plants.
The fungus gnats, yeah.
The fungus gnats, they're going to be gone. I change everything to leca. I change all of this to leca and be gone. So, Jesus, that Chloe got me so excited. I had forgot what I was talking about, Jesus.
Wow.
So, I forgot where I was going. So, they say, basically, I say this prayer, I pray your heart is healed and mended, And I'm trying to be, again, as one of my good friends always say, champion of the people. And this person fixes their mouth to say, you never cared about my heart anyway. In a text message, I said, now, gosh darn it all. If I ain't, and I'm like, am I in a relationship with you? Like, or you know what? You had wrote a thing for me. You wrote a position or a character that you thought I was. And I don't know, you said you've been in heaven, you say, for 19 years.
19 years.
I've been in the ghetto for 20. And it's like every episode of Good Times, but it's James dies every episode. That's what it's like dating. James dies every episode, but it's also soul food, and Big Mama's like, they ain't gonna cut my leg every episode. Is she gone and Big Mama go? It's rough.
I find it interesting how they haven't, you showed up at the Five Guys and they wasn't around, and then all of a sudden, out the blue, there's a text message. Hey, how you doing?
They were like, I've been thinking about
especially after you on Front Street saying, listen, we could just be friends, no relationship here.
And sometimes I think it's me.
Maybe they were hoping that you had a change of heart. Some people do play like that. They do around hoping that you will have a change of heart.
They do. And I truly say, I don't want to crush your dreams and hopes, because I try not to be a dream killer. Right. But generally, when I make a decision, I stick with it. So I have wanted these locks. This is an example. I have wanted locks since I was in middle school.
Okay.
I am 31 years old. So since I was 10 years old, I wanted locks. And my family, I love them to death. Like, oh, it's just a phase because they didn't want me to have locks. And they didn't like them. And now that I have these locks, and people like, then locks are in. I wanted them in 2000 when a lot of people weren't really doing the locks like that. People had cornrows and stuff. I didn't really want that. I love my afro. I love a good afro, and I wanted locks. But I wanted that consistently. I have wanted to be a plant biologist since the 11th grade when I discovered this is what this thing is. There's some other things I cut off of there, but I'm nearly consistent. I'm a creature of habit and I'm spontaneous at the same time. So if I generally say, hey, person who is potentially of interest, I am not interested in you, then what that means is fly away from me. Because I'm not going to change my mind. And I let it be known, you could just fly. You can fly away. That's it, right? So they blocked me on the phone.
Oh.
Because they were like, I don't know where you're still texting me. And I was like, it's okay. And again, the internet trolling me wanted to be like, I'm still on your Instagram. I can just troll all your comments.
Right.
And I laughed thinking about it, but I didn't do it. I did not do it because Jesus like, don't be like that.
It's not necessary.
The trolling me don't care.
Especially
the trolling me will go off. Have you seen my trolling comments before? Have you seen me go in?
Nah, I never seen it.
I'm not going to talk about the companies I've gone in on, but there's two of them in particular. There's one, I trolled this person's business so bad. They messaged me personally, followed me, messaged me and said, hey, can we schedule a meeting to talk because your comments were particularly stinging.
Wow.
And it was because not only did I put at least 100 comments up in the first hour of seeing this, each comment saying something different, I started going over everybody's comments, especially people who were supporting this woman. This woman basically stole some ideas for a couple of Black plant creators in our community. And she was like, well, I had this idea and, we just came up with the same idea. And they were like, but we hit you up we proposed this idea to you. And then you said you was going to come back to us and now you have the same idea.
Oh, okay.
And they were like, well, I could do it. And I was like, how dare you, especially as you were supposed to be a woman of color yourself, how dare you come and steal against other women of color? Like,
right.
What's up? So I went in. I went ham. She sent me a free plant. The pot is here somewhere. It died because she had to send me an Ethereum. But I go in.
Right.
Another person, I went in so hard. People, they just know at this point in the Black plant community, if and something go crazy, they used to just hit me up because I would literally drag people in the comments, in their stories, in their messages, because why not? Okay. So, and I try not to be like that no more because I love Jesus. So I said, I'm not going to do this. So you would think the story ends here because it sounds like a good ending point. No. This is now September, August. I'm on one of these dating apps, minding my own Black business, pressing the Lord, probably singing some Shirley Caesar, Tamla Mann, maybe some trap songs. Who knows what I'm singing at any given moment? Probably some Anita Baker. And I'm scrolling through, and I love me some Anita Baker. And I happened to get a notification from the dating app. Dating app says, it doesn't say their real name, but it says, still hurting, but miss you, or hope you're okay, something like that.
Okay.
So I go to this app to say, well, who is this?
Right.
And sure enough, it's the same person who ghosted me in June, blocked me in July. And I said, obviously, you is mentally unstable. This is why God tells me sometimes not to invite people to my house and not to let you know my address. Dating sucks. If I ain't said it already, and say it now, dating in this day and age is ghetto and sucks. So the fact that you've been in heaven for so long, you keep staying in heaven. Don't you get kicked out.
Dating is great. I'm going to tell you what sucks. Rejection.
Okay, I'm ready.
Rejection. So
rejection does suck. You're right.
You rejected this individual in the beginning, which they were not willing to accept. And then finally, something hit them in the face for them to say, you know what? Okay, he's done. He's whatever. And the next thing you know, maybe I messed up. Let me give it another shot. Hey, how are you doing? Let me send a text and see if he bites the bait. You know, because a lot of people, they go fishing, but they just be using the wrong bait all the time. So they basically try to say, hey, how you doing? And once again, you shut it down. Another rejection. You know what? Nah, this ain't going to work. Wish you all the best. Enjoy your life. But rejection, always the sanest person walking this earth. You reject them, they go crazy. It never fails.
I can understand that because I've been rejected a lot, and I can get that, right?
Right.
But I've had to.
Some people can handle rejection. Others just can't.
But I had to grow to handle it. And that's my biggest thing. Like I've had to grow and cultivate within myself, just like we grow these plants, like all these beautiful rare plants behind me. I had to grow and cultivate myself, like, you know, this beautiful pink princess I'm growing. I got it from Gunter's here in Durham, North Carolina.
Very nice.
And it is sexy in it. And I had to grow and cultivate this and learn how to give myself what I needed. So when rejection comes a knocking at the door, then I could be like, you know what, I ain't gonna answer because you're here and I get you, but I'm not gonna be bothered enough to say my whole day is ruined. I'm gonna be upset because it's human nature, but I'm not going to give the slew of answers like I'm 6, because there's a certain point where I have to just grow up and accept that life will hit you.
Right.
And I either got to duck and weave or take that hit.
Right. So now when it comes to attraction and someone are like, you know what, Derek is a handsome fella. You know, I really want to get to know this guy. And they build up basically all the butterflies is out the stomach, get the nerves to approach to say, you know what, when can I get a chance to run my fingers through your locks? Whatever the approach is. And then you're like, never.
Try not to be that harsh.
You know,
I really try. Sometimes these people will bring it out of me where I have to be the real Derek, the ninja, to say, and I said ninja, Ninja, the real Derek, the ninja, to say, hey, I'm really not feeling you. There's no chance on God's green earth unless Christ cracks the sky. And when he cracks the sky, Aretha has to be singing, you know, if only you knew. That's a Patti LaBelle song. Her and Patti didn't really have good.
Let me tell you right now,
if that happens,
if I was in that individual shoes and you said, if you hit me with that, I'd rather get never. I'd rather someone say to me, it will never happen. And
you're reasonable. You are reasonable, so that's why. Some people are unreasonable, TR, and they'll be like, well, why? Why not me? But why? There's one person, they used to hit me up every day with, hey, how you doing? I would say, I'm finding you. So for the first week, it was cute. You know, I'm not really feeling you, but hey, how you doing? I'm finding you. I'm good. Okay. So the conversation just dies. Then maybe anywhere from 5 minutes to a couple of hours later, within the same day, it'd be like, WYD, question mark. What are you doing? Oh, I'm at work.
Right.
So that was every day.
Okay.
The same 2 questions every day.
Okay.
No variation, in the same order every day. Sometimes, and actually I'm lying. Sometimes it'd be, what are you doing? How was your day?
Right.
What am I doing? I'm at work, working. Because, so at a certain point I was like, you shouldn't even have to ask me what I'm doing, because if you hit me up at certain hours, you should be able to track on a calendar that if you hit me up between the hours of 8 and 4, I am at work. I say that every day, Monday through Friday. How many days? Every day. I say, I am at work. Then you say, what do you do?
At work?
I guess they working too. I don't know, because I'm like, I don't care. Now, again, I shouldn't be that way, but it's like, you are not, obviously, like when I said, hey, tell me what you're doing, and I'll be like, Andrew, because it's polite. I'm like, I don't care what you're doing, because I'm currently at work. I'm answering these messages because I've messaged people who never answer, and I'm like, that's rude as all get out. But I see now why they don't talk to y'all, because some of y'all have no idea how to talk. So I had to come to this person and be like, so look, I'm a conversationalist. What are you looking for from me? What do you want from me? Like, that's a question I love to ask. Oh, I don't know. I was just hoping we could talk. Okay, great. Are you a conversationalist? Because you don't really seem like that. If you want to talk, you're not really asking me any questions. Well, yeah, I'm not really a good conversationalist. Well, then why are you talking to me? If let's say, for example, TR and the people in YouTube might have.
Cold as dry ice.
Look, the thing. Let's say, for example, we have a club that we make for people who like sports teams, sports ball. Okay, the New York native skin people, Steelers. Okay, whatever that team is, I couldn't think of a team. I mixed a couple up. It's okay. And the
Right.
people like this New York native skin team, Steelers, I forgot the name already, but it's okay. They like
Right.
that team, right? And they say, we are going to have a support group for the people that like this team. And then I come in, you are the leader of this team. I come in and you're like, oh, okay, what you like best about the team? I don't know. I'd never really heard of the team until now. You would think I was on drugs or
Right.
mentally insane. So then when you reverse that, if you are not conversational, why are you talking to me?
Right. To me, a question mark, what are you doing? That's not how you basically have a conversation.
It's not, because what you want me to say is, I got my legs sprayed open and I'm waiting for you to get in between. That's what you want me to say, because that's what these people are looking for. And that's not what I'm going to say, because I've already established you
Right.
are not somebody that's going to see much of my legs outside of these shorts.
Also, I believe from speaking to you and getting to know you every time I speak to you, I think it would have to be, you would have to be the one to approach the person. Someone approaching you, I don't think that's going to fall right into your favor.
Oh, I'm naturally suspicious. So you're right. I'm
Yeah.
naturally suspicious. So
So
it's from being an Eastern Carolinian. There was a person that hit me up. I said, you are way too beautiful to be talking to me. I am so sorry. You are too beautiful to be talking to me. You have to be either a catfish or there's something very wrong with you. And sure enough, they were a catfish, because number one, all your pictures are during the day. And some of your pictures, I'm like, I know you're getting these from somewhere, but because the aspect ratios are all different. I used to be a yearbook editor. Some of my observation skills are a little different than most people's. So I'm like, some of these colors are off. I noticed like you've cut this off. This can't be you. And I let the person know, like, again, I'm trying something different. If this isn't you, if you just show me your real face, we can just at least talk and be friends. Like, at least we can be that. This would be a funny story we tell people. And we
right,
can move forward. And they
right.
showed me their real face and blocked me. So generally, but then there was another person who,
Yeah.
once they got here, they were really their pictures, because they sent a couple pictures and they're like, this is really who I am. I had a whole Instagram with lives and stuff. I was like, oh, okay. And sure enough, this was really who I was like, oh my goodness, thank God for that. Cha-ching, hit the lotto. But it just depends. This person, again, would hit me up and they were like, I want to know more about you. You don't ask any questions to know more about me. Ask more questions about me.
Right, right,
If you want to know who I am, ask.
right.
And then I said, here's to help you. Here's my Crazy Botanist, at that time, Botanical Highlander Instagram, the Chocolate Botanist on that IG. Talk to me. Just talk to me. Have a little conversation and let's just go in. But God bless it, TR. It was just like the same, hey, how you doing? What you doing?
Right.
So finally I was like, I'm just gonna start copying and pasting my answers previously, because there's no, I literally am following the same schedule. So every day at 8 and 4, you hit me up, I'm working as I was yesterday.
Right.
I'm just as fine as I've been, or I'm swell. So I would kind of juggle them. I'm like, hopefully you'll get the hint.
I don't do well with text
So
messages at all. I rather a phone
why
call.
not?
I rather a phone call. I need to hear your voice when we're speaking, because I will read a text and I might take it wrong. If that
You
makes sense.
know,
You know,
that
like
does make
you said,
perfect
for
sense.
example, and also if I'm texting you, do not shorthand. I'm not with the, you know, I'm sorry. I'm not with
Not the
that.
shorthand.
No, do not shorthand me. I rather a voice, because I find it, how can I say? To me, it's like a waste of time. Like you're wasting so much time texting these things out when you could just send me a voice note, or you can just pick up the phone and be like, hey, how are you? What are you up to? Okay, how's work going? You know, and that's up to me to elaborate. That's how conversation starts. Now, if you just text me, what are you doing? And how you say, I'm at work. You can't get a dialogue that way. It's not going to work that way at all.
It won't. So let me tell you, let me tell you a little side story about this person. One day I said, because I felt that. I said, God, maybe it's me. And some people were like, well, just maybe you should put more into the conversation and see you'll get something more
Right.
back. The good sister of mine, she told me that, my little Stace case. And she I said, okay, because you're right. Because I got good friends around me that tell me, when I'm being a little off. So I put a lot into this conversation. One day, I was like, hey, tell me about your day, what you do for work, what you've been doing. I've been doing this. This is what I do at the job place. Like I'm just conversating it up. A conversation was as dry as my ankles on any given day of the week. And for those of you who don't know, I don't like to wear lotion. I don't like to wear lotion at all. I really don't.
Oh my goodness.
My ankles was as dry. Like if you watch, I watch a lot of Chef Ramsay's, those kitchen nightmares. And he's like, this is dry. When he says that, and he's sitting there and he's like, this stick is dry. And he's, don't you see this, you donkey? You donut. This is dry. I love it when he calls people a donut. When he calls them people and he tells them to F off, that touches me. But I'm like,
we're gonna have to send Derek some coconut oil. I need everyone to send him some coconut oil.
You can. You sure can. I got all types of oils too. That's the bad part.
All right. Looking like fish scales right now with them ankles.
With my ankles, I can click them together right now and light every candle in this house at once. I could click my ankles together. Okay. And cut my way through some rope. So when I'm like,
come up with these things.
That's what happens. That's what happens. I could click my ankles 3 times and a tornado will come through. And instead of the Wiz, it'll bring back Tupac. Tupac will come back. I could put my ankles together. And if I rub them side to side, Donald Trump will finally leave America. Anywho,
oh my goodness. Where does he come up?
God just gives it to me. It just comes from heaven and it lands in my heart. So I've done it all, TR. And I'm just like, at this point, I've been like, dating is just a bust because they say there's plenty of fish in the sea, but they don't let you know that there's a lot of plastic here too. And I'm just chewing on plastic like the fish was in the 90s, and I'm choking and dying.
So what's
next? I need Captain Planet.
So what's next?
Right
You're
now, I've
older.
been kind of.
We're all growing and getting older.
We all are growing. I've kind of been dating, taking the dating sites, but at this point, I've been like, God, maybe I'm just not going to meet whoever I'm supposed to be with on these sites, and I just need to get out, which is hard for me to do because I don't like clubs. No. I don't really like a lot of social gatherings.
Right.
I don't really like a lot of social gatherings. I don't like crowds and waves of people. I don't like a lot of loud music, so I enjoy a concert, but and then when the music is just super loud and there's people all on top of me, I'm just anxious and I'm like, I have to get out of here. I have to go home. I can't be here anymore. I'm tired. Even if it's a small party, my boss man will have a Halloween party, and after 5 minutes, I want to get home. But I'm like, Derek, you took you 30 minutes to get here. At least stay for an hour. I have to coach myself to get there. Because once I'm starting to get ready, I'm like, well, I could just stay home. I don't have to go and see those people.
No.
And then
get out.
And then see, that's what you say. But see, that's not what the inner me say. The inner Derek, little Derek in here, but your couch is so comfortable though. And you can just sit here as much as you want to, and you can just talk to people on the phone, and then you cut our phone off, and then you're here.
Right. But at the same time, something is missing.
Something is missing. A person for me to be alone with together. Exactly.
That companionship is missing.
Yes. So that's why I'm like, God, let me just be open to it. Let this person just go out their way to catch my attention and actually, catch it. And we'll go from there. So that's where the thing is. I'm still on these apps. Y'all see my profile, give it a thumbs up or whatever. But we'll just see. I'm just playing the waiting game at this point.
I always find when you don't look, that's when basically love come and slap you in the face.
That's when you keep saying, so how did you get into heaven? I just want to know how you get into heaven so quick. What's your love story?
So the story.
I imagine you walked up, you had some Tim's on and a background hat. Because I've been waiting to make this background story. You walked up, you had a little Tim's on, and you were like, yo, baby, yo, baby, yo. And you were like this, rubbing your hands like this. And then this was probably during the 90s. So they were playing that They Were Minutes Over You. You had your hat to the side.
There we go.
And you had on some chains, some gold chains, real gold, not that fake stuff people were wearing. Real gold stuff. And you had on a jacket, and it was like a camouflage jacket, some overalls. This the 90s. Okay. This the 90s. And that's what you were doing. Because you know, because you say 19 years ago, I'm 31, so that puts us in actually
19
2003.
years ago. Do the math, please.
That's like, yeah, is that 2000 and that's 2002. So that's still a little over the 90s, but you still going in and you got some, you know, some good
I'm like,
Lil
where did
Wayne
you get
playing
the
in there.
90s from?
I just
All right,
made it
so
up.
it's basically we met in the schoolyard.
Oh, yes, schoolyard.
Yeah, we met in the schoolyard. She was picking up her niece, and I was picking up my cousin from school. So my cousin Talia went to a Catholic school, and of course her niece also went to a Catholic school, the same Catholic school. And I saw this individual standing in the schoolyard, and I didn't have the nerve the first time I saw him at all. And I realized, you know what, T, you've been around the block a few times. Like, what's so different about this person? But with me, I just didn't want to mess up. And I'm the type of individual, when I really go after something, I don't really think, put a lot of thought into things to say like, all right, well, maybe she has a man at home, or maybe she, you know, is dealing with someone. Hell, maybe she has a bunch of kids that I don't want to be a part of, you know, things like that. So I basically followed my zodiac sign, being a Leo. I observed one day. That one day turned into 2 weeks, and I'm like, damn. 2 weeks passed by, 3 weeks passed by. I'm like, it's driving me crazy. So finally, one day, she came to pick up her niece, and it was like, hello. And I was actually there with two of my friends, and my buddy Quan and Patrick. They're like, who she was talking to? I'm like, oh, me. You know, right out the gate. I'm like, oh, she was talking to me. They're like, no. I think she said hi to me. I'm like, wait, hold up. You guys just here for the first time. Why the hell would you say hi to me? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, she definitely said hi to me. Now, let me tell you something. I don't know what it is at the time, but without words or anything that was being exchanged, not even a glance, like she never even looked in my direction. I wanted to change certain things about me to impress her. And I'm like, that's not me. You know, I need to be myself. But at the same time, I went home and I'm like, I'm going to write her a letter because I don't know how to express into words without her saying, no, I'm not interested. And that's just going to crush my heart. Especially, listen, my aunt is going to need to find somebody else to pick up my cousin. Like, I'm not showing up to that schoolyard if she'd be like, nah, I'm sorry. I can't show my face again. So I actually went home one evening and I had this big yellow pad and I started to take lyrics from R&B songs and putting them together, like different R&B song, you know, and trying to like take pieces to create like this whole poetic letter just to ask on the first date. And my grandmother walked into the room and she's like, what are you doing? She's like, why are you up? Why are you in the dark? Like, what's going on? What are you doing? Like, what's going on here? Putting the lights on. Why you got candles on? Like, what's wrong with you? This is the summertime, you lighting candles. Like, boy, what are you doing? So I was like, Ma,
Black grandmamas.
Yeah, I'm like, Ma, there's a girl at the schoolyard. She's like, child, you've been talking about this girl now going on a month and a half? Why don't you just ask her out? I'm like, no, I want it to be different. I'm used to asking people out. I don't want to just ask her out. I want to do something different. She's like, why do you want to do something different? What's so special? What's so special about this girl? Absolutely nothing. You don't even know. What's her name? I was like, oh, I don't know.
Didn't hit you with that Alicia Keys before Alicia Keys came out, did she?
So you want to do something special when you don't even know her name. Interesting. So she said, listen, you was raised by 4 women. You still haven't learned anything yet? I'm like, oh, okay. She's like, let me see that paper. She took the paper and rip it up.
Not your hard work.
I tell Diane all the time, Diana's like, yo, your grandma was cold. I'm like, yeah, she was. But she ripped the paper up. And then next thing you know, I sat there and she was like, don't listen to anything. Just say what you want to express to her. And that's it. That's what women love. Women don't want no phony stuff. We don't want no gimmicks. We don't want you to be fake when you're stepping to. Just tell us exactly what you want. And I'm like, what? I'm like, what I want? Trust me. Nah, I can't do that. I'm gonna end up getting slapped or being in jail. I can't say whatever.
Exactly.
Nah, I'm not doing that. And she was like, be a gentleman. I raised you to be a gentleman. That's what you should be. Next thing you know, D, I'm sitting down, I'm writing poems. I wrote a whole poem. Seriously. Like, and up to this day, I know the poem. Like I have basically maybe like, I'm gonna say maybe like 15 to 20 poems that I wrote all dedicated to her. And I'm
Ooh,
saying to
that's
myself,
dedicated
like,
stuff.
and I'm saying to myself, when I see her, I'm gonna just blur out this poem. Like, I don't care who's around. Like, I'm gonna just seriously start saying this poem. So sure enough, here she comes. We at the schoolyard. Well, I'm at the school. I'm at the schoolyard and I'm waiting for her to come. I'm waiting for her to come. First time she ain't come. Second time, I'm like, damn, who the hell is this? I was like, who's this big lady? Like, I'm like, where's the girl that used to come and pick up? Why am I seeing this lady now? Finally, she came, which was actually a Wednesday in the schoolyard. She came.
Ooh.
And I'm like, hello. And she's like, hi, how are you? And I'm like, I'm fine, And my hands was so sweaty. My mouth was dry. My heart, I could hear my heart in my head. I'm like, oh my God. She's like, are you okay? I'm like, no, I'm not. She's like, do you have a stuttering problem? I'm like, no. I'm like, I don't have a stuttering problem. I'm like, like, in all honesty, every time I gaze into your eyes, I just get high, like I just want to exhale the love that passes other people by. Like, this was how the poem just went. This is what I wrote. And she was like, what? I'm like,
You said,
yeah.
what did you
I'm
just say?
like,
I need you to say that part again.
I
You
said,
said
listen,
who?
every time I gaze into your eyes, I get high. I would just like to exhale the love that passes other people by. And I said, what we have can, believe it or not, it will make dry flowers bloom. Just like on dark nights when the ocean decides to talk to the moon. And D, like, she was like, what? Are you serious? Get out of here with, I've never heard anything like, she's like, did you write that? I'm like, I've been working on that for like a month and a half now. And I have a lot more. I'm like, would you go out with me? She's like, okay, what is your name? She's like, I see you here all the time. You always have the waves looking all nice and stuff. She's like,
Yes, waves.
believe it or not, she said, believe it or not, I wanted to know what took you so long. I was like, God damn it. I was like, oh Lord, thank you, Jesus. I was like, thank you so much. I'm like, listen, I didn't have the courage at all, because I didn't want to mess it up. And I just didn't want to do the whole, hey, what's up, man? What's going on? Oh, hey, shorty. No. I wanted to have a different approach. And we went on a date, which was, like I said, that was on a Wednesday. The Saturday, we went on a date. We went to the movies and we saw a scary movie, right? Something Gates. I can't remember the name of it. Something Gates. And when we came back from the movie theater, we actually sat in the park for maybe 3 hours. And then she's like, you know what? I would like to hear some of the poems that you wrote. And I'm like, I don't write poetry. She's like, what do you mean you don't write poetry? I'm like, I don't write poetry. I was like, you bought that out of me. I don't really write poetry. And then next thing you know, I'm sitting in the park, went to my grandmother's house. We sat on the steps and I just read her every poem that I wrote for her that night. And from there, it's been history ever since.
Well, yes, history ever since. You saying like, what you mean you don't like poems? And you
Yeah.
sitting here
No, but
poetically
that's
justing
when
it
I
up.
realized, no, when someone brings that out of you, I've never wrote no poem at all. Someone had to bring that out of me, and she brought that out of me. I never knew I had it in me to write poems, but it was just the fact of formulating the words every time I had her face in my head, like, oh my God, like, and then on top of that, you know what? It's so funny. Like, at the time I was working construction, And for some reason, when you work construction, like some weeks you get that check, next week they're like, oh, I'm sorry, check is late, or whatever the case may be. That was the situation with me at the time. And I remember I probably had like $60 to my name. And like I said, I asked out on a date. We went to the movies, and back then you can make it stretch. Like you go to the movies like $7.50, and then you could go to Uno's Pizzeria and sit down and eat. And it was like, you know what? After the movies, we don't really even have to go out and eat. We could just sit down in the park and just talk. And I'm like, are you serious? I was like, well, I'm hungry. You know, I'm trying to front you like I have money. Like, we gonna go out to eat. I'm hungry. Like, what you want to do? Olive Garden, Uno's Pizzeria. Let's do it. She's like, no, I'm fine. She was like, the movie was great. Let's just sit down and talk. And I realized that was probably like one of the best nights of my life, just sitting down and speaking to her, because you really get to know a person through their actions. Meaning, like, you know what? We could have went out to eat. She didn't want to do that. And I was like, okay, so that means you're not materialistic. That's the way I was thinking. Like, or maybe you just ain't want to break my back. Or maybe you knew I ain't have no money. I mean, I don't know. But sitting down and just speaking in the park for 3 hours, and then from the park going to my grandmother's house, sitting on the steps for another probably like 2 hours or so. And I was reading all the poems that I wrote for her, and then walking her home. It was just like the best thing ever. And then walking her home, getting home, maybe I'm gonna say it was probably like 1 o'clock, 1 a.m. And then we hopped on the phone talking again, speaking like, yeah, like, you know, you laying down, you speaking on the phone, you like, everything, you all right over there? Yeah. You know, it was such a great day. You keep talking and you're like, I'm dozing off. Me too. Like you falling asleep with the phone on your face. Next morning, I was like a schoolboy, man. I ran the next day, which was, or should I say that Monday, because Saturday we went on a date. That Monday, I ran to that schoolyard. I was there early, like, I just couldn't wait to see. I'm serious. I just couldn't wait to see it. And then my buddy Pat, I always have good friends around me, which I truly adore them. My buddy Pat, that Sunday, I spoke to Pat. He's like, yo, you just keep speaking about this girl, man. Like, oh my God, like, just shut up. Can we go play some basketball? Like everything is dying. He's like, I'm gonna tell you what. Tell you something what my father told me. I'm like, oh Lord, here we go. Here goes the story. He's like, listen, next time you see her, get a single stem rose, just a rose, one rose, and give it to her. And I'm like, huh? He's like, just give her that one rose. Let's see how she reacts to it. And I'm like, all right. I don't know what to expect from that, but okay, whatever. So on my way to the schoolyard, sure enough, summertime, what I do? Pick a rose off of a rose bush, a rose tree that was in somebody's yard, picked a nice rose, had the thorns on it and everything. Ran to the schoolyard, have the rose behind my back, and when she approaches, and I'm like, you know, here you go. I was like, this is for you. And she was like, oh my gosh. She was like, thank you so much. She was like, you know, my last name is Rose. And I was like, yeah, we spoke about that last night and stuff. And she's like, one thing about flowers, they die. And I'm like, yeah. I said, you should see my aunt's house. My aunt has plants galore. It's like a whole botanical garden in her home. And she's like, I'm really not into plants. I'm like, wait, what? Like, what do you mean you're not into plants? You know, I'm like, well, I'm into plants. Maybe you haven't met the right plant yet. What you mean? You're not, oh, because I don't know how to take care of them. They always die on my watch. I'm like, oh, that's because you have the wrong hands. Let me show you. I'm gonna show you how you need to take care of plants. You know, if you're wanting to learn. Yeah, you gotta have the right hands. And it's as simple as just a little photosynthesis and some water, H2O. That's it. That's all plants want. You can learn a lot from plants, just like you can learn a lot from people. Plants give you science all the time, just like people. And she's like, do you have any plants? I was like, no, I don't. At the time, I did not. I probably had like 2 snake plants that my aunts gave me, but that was about it. And it went from talking about plants to cooking, to education, to careers, to family. And I'm like, damn, this is just good. I love this. Like, seriously, I love this. Like when the phone rings And my grandma was like, boy, Diana's on the phone. Don't tie up my line. You know, I got folks from the church calling me. Do not listen. All right, Pastor Gomez.
Don't tie up my line.
Yeah. Do not tie up my line. Pastor Gomez, he's going to call. Make sure you buzz over and you pass that phone to me. And I'm like, all right, Ma. But I hear that phone ringing. Whoever's calling, I'm on that phone. She's like, you better answer that phone. I'm not answering the phone. Like, don't worry. Like, my grandmother probably sleep. So, you know, sometimes grandma will hop on the phone. Boy, you still on the phone? She like, get off the phone. I told you I'm waiting on the call. But the feeling was mutual. Like, we both couldn't, like, go without seeing each other.
You both found each other. It wasn't just
like,
a one-sided thing.
We wanted to see each other. And then we needed the support of each other at the time. It sounds kind of crazy, but from the conversation that we shared, it was like, wow, like we both fall into each other's hands at the right time, because she was dealing with a lot and I was going through a lot, you know, with school and working and things like that, as well as like some family issues. And we just like basically was like crutches for each other, you know?
Wow, that is gorgeous. See, you see, that gives me hope to the four of y'all watching and all of y'all watching in the future.
I keep telling you, sometimes you have to be willing to let go something. That's where the compromise comes into play. And I know you understand this. I know if anyone does, it's you. The fact that you just, you know, that package is always going to be there. You're always going to get that package. You open it up, trust me, there's always something you're not going to like. You know what I mean? It's that damaged leaf. Like when you get that monstera with the damaged leaf, and that damaged leaf tell a story, because all plants tell a story. You know, It's up to you to say, you know what, I'm willing to accept this, or maybe I'm going to cut it off, hoping that something new grows back. That's it. Look at you. What are you looking at? What are you thinking about?
You know, I'm checking stuff over here. You know, I'm watching everything. So,
I can't even see the comments. I don't know.
Yeah, you would have to open YouTube. But the biggest thing is, number one, guys, I'm glad y'all are here watching. Remember, y'all, be sure to leave me a like and subscribe to Apotment Jungle's channel. He has a channel up here on the YouTube. He's also on Instagram, APOTMENT. Jungle. That's right. Spelling, I can spell, as Cola would say, I know words. Because that's a beautiful love story. And again, it gives me hope, because I've seen people who have met people and they find them. And I think my thing again is letting go of the anxiety or the fear of rejection of trying to meet somebody in person.
Right.
Because that is something where, you know, again, sometimes I feel a little socially awkward. Sometimes I'm a little geeky, a little nerdy, and I feel like, you know, the people don't be looking for necessarily the intelligent, not to say other people ain't intelligent, but the intelligent minded like I am, where I'm just kind of like quirky like I am. I'll say that. And I just have to do that.
I'm sorry to cut you, but we had a previous conversation where you said, no, the things that you do on a first date, a lot of people don't do as much. And sometimes it's like, you know what, it will blow a person's mind who's really not used to these things. It will blow their mind. Now you present all these things. You know what? I'm going to cook for you on a first date. We're going to take a long stroll. After the stroll, I'm going to cook for you. Hell, we might just walk down the street and I'm singing, or whatever the case may be. You know how powerful that is, the impact you have when you do things like that to someone who are accustomed to anything but McDonald's?
Look, I will give people, there was one person I took on a tour of the local botanical gardens here in North Carolina. I'm not going to say which one, just in case they watch this. And because I take multiple people to the botanical gardens, so don't message me if you're looking at this. And we went to the botanical gardens. We went to other places. I can't name all of them because this is going to be too specific. But we went to a lot of different things within the Raleigh-Durham area, which I try to take most people to, but especially to the plant places, because I'm a whole freaking botanist. I show off. I'll be like, well, these are these plants. This is the history of this. Most of these botanical gardens I've been to 30 times, so I know what they have. They don't change things often. I've read most of the signs and committed most of them to memory. So I'm able just to be like, "Hada, blah 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 blah," and these are these plants, blah 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 blah, and the people are like, so this is this and this is that, and they get to see the beautiful flowers and smell the beautiful flowers. There was another
Right.
person I took on a date to another botanical garden, and again, it was just like, wow, like this is beautiful, this is gorgeous. I've never even been here before. And I'm like, but you're in the area. Like, how do you not? How can you be 20 minutes away from this place
Right.
and you've never seen it before? And it's so beautiful. But there's things I haven't experienced before, and I'm in the city. So I think just, I have to let my quirky freak flag, as it were, fly. And just, somebody's going to set sail and come for it, and they'll actually get somebody I want. So
Yeah.
I believe it'll happen.
When
I'm
it
believing
happens,
it.
and you will know when it happens. And I hope when it happens, you're willing to give love a chance.
When it happens, not only will I give love a chance, what I'll do is I'll make sure I bring you back up here or whatever platform I'm on, and we're going to have another chit chat catch up, because I'm going to be like, I'm joining you in heaven, brother. That's what I'm going to say. That's going to be the title, Joining You in Heaven. Because
Right.
I'm going to be up there. Because the fact that this man, for those of you who did tuned in late, because y'all should have been here on time, okay? Don't
You
be
have
on
to
color
keep
people time.
getting those possibilities.
Look, don't be on color people time. Y'all should have been here early. I said, are you married? He said, I am in heaven. And I've been in heaven for 19 years. I said, well, goodness gracious, great balls of fire. You mean to tell me that you is just walking around heaven all day?
All day.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's
all
a
day.
blessing there.
The thing that I was worried about, meaning like loss, like losing someone, right? Especially someone that you love, only to realize and find understanding that we're both not going anywhere. We have such a bond, such chemistry, understanding. Communication is really important. And one promise that we always made to each other: never go to bed upset. Whatever that's disturbing or that's bothering you, we can always talk about it. The key to every successful business, relationship, friendship is communication. If you cannot communicate, and communication without raising your voice, it is very important, because within an argument, right? And when I say argument, that's when you're yelling. So now when you're yelling and raising your voice at a person, neither one of you are hearing anything. And most of the time you're expressing things just to hurt each other, knowing damn well you don't even mean what you're saying. Sometimes you do mean it, but most of the time you're like, you know what? So you struck me once, I'm going to strike you right back. And it's just going to build and build and sit. And when water sits for a long time, it starts to penetrate. And next thing you know, your roof is caving in. Do not let water sit. All right? Do not let it sit. Make sure you sweep that. Yeah, clear those drains and let that water go down, and just speak to your partner, man. Speak to your loved one, whoever you're in a relationship with. Compromise is everything. Right,
My
babe?
God. She still got a gun pointed at it. So look, I could sit and talk to you all day. I could sit, because I keep looking down, because I'm also checking the clock.
Anytime, man. You
I
that.
know. I keep looking at the clock, because I was like, I think I told you in the email, this is going to be a
7:30.
30-minute conversation. I was like, we'll just be done probably 7:30 at the latest. And then 7:30 came. I was like, well, Jesus, how did that happen? And I already had started you were rubbing your hands like this with the chains on. And by the way, I almost described what Tupac looked like in Poetic Justice. And then you said you did poems. I just want the people to keep that in mind. Somehow, I just knew. Anywho, I could talk to you all day, my dear sir, my dear friend.
When was the last time you saw Love Jones?
Love Jones. It was a very long time ago. I was yet a child. I feel like they said that wasn't a good. I feel like some of these black movies we love, they say aren't really good examples of love. But what was you gonna say?
I was gonna say, it's funny because watching Love Jones when I was younger, basically I was just like, oh, this is foolishness. Like, I didn't get it. But it's been uploaded to Netflix recently, and I saw it maybe like last week or 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny. You find some things in there that you'll be like, huh. When it comes to that power, like Luther always think about that power of love.
Ooh,
when it comes to that power of love, yo, you can't turn the hands away, man. Like they always say, when the law calls, you can't say you got the wrong number, right? The same thing when it comes to love. You can't turn the hands away.
Yes, Lord. Yes, God. Well, on that note, tell the people who you are. We're going to end on that note
If you
and
try
tell
to
them any
find
big things you got.
our Apotment Jungle on Instagram and every other platform there is, Apotment Jungle. APOTMENT Jungle. All right. So thank you so much, Derek, for having me. And as you know, I love you like catfish I never had.
That's funny because I love you like New York pizza, which I don't truly enjoy, but I'm going to say I enjoyed today. It took me a while to figure out why I didn't like New York pizza. And I was like, what is wrong with this? It all tastes terrible, but I get it now. I like tomato sauce on my pizza.
We're not going to do this.
I really had to figure it out because I took one of these people who I took over there. We went to get some New York pizza. I was like, this is disgusting. This is horrible. But the chicken wings were good. Anyway, food is on my mind because I have not yet eaten. So with that, I will bid you all adieu. Thank you, TR, for joining me. Y'all be sure to subscribe to his YouTube, follow him on the Instagram, send him a carrier pigeon, follow his MySpace, his TikTok, any of the other social media platforms I can't think of, all of them, Google Plus,
so
subscribe all the way. And thank you for being here. Y'all be sure to follow me. I am the Chocolate Botanist. This has been Hot Cocoa, where we dish and we chit chat and chitter whack and all of the good things there. Y'all have a great night.
Have a good night.
I will see you all soon as it's over here, end this live. So I am going to end it.